Ever sat staring at a project, just completely exhausted, wondering if any of your grueling daily grind is actually going to pay off? I mean, you put in the hours, you do the heavy lifting, but the needle just isn't moving. It's a genuinely terrifying feeling, right?
Picture this. Instead of sitting confidently behind a desk, you're breaking down, full-on tears on the back patio while your partner holds you. Why? Because absolutely everything you were working on seemed completely and utterly pointless. It's that profound, deeply discouraging moment we've literally all faced when our effort feels completely invisible.
Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to uncover the hidden mechanics of why your effort absolutely always counts, even when it feels completely unnoticed. We're diving into this fascinating framework called All Work Works, which is all about growth through perseverance. We'll discover how your return on investment often shows up disguised as personal growth, and why what feels like total failure might actually just be fertilizer.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. The pain of stuck progress. 2. How work changes you. 3. Building capacity and control. 4. Surviving the latency period. And 5. Next steps.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the pain of stuck progress. So the absolutely crucial difference we need to understand here is between mechanical failure and personal progress. Think about it. If a car doesn't start, that's a mechanical failure. It's just broken. But with personal progress, your internal engine is actually still running perfectly fine, even if the vehicle itself isn't moving forward yet. Why does that happen? Because of what we call lagging indicators. That's just a technical term for results that show up long after the actual work is done. Your progress feels stuck simply because your visible results are delayed.
Take this wild story from 1985 about insurance sales. Imagine going through 18 whole months of just hearing the word no. No sales, 0 results. In fact, it took 1,000 failed trials. 1,000! But here's the secret. Each one of those no's was a pivot. It was an experiment. Much like a scientist in a lab, you really don't get to a massive breakthrough without 1,000 failed trials. When the success finally hit, it wasn't magic. It was the compounded sum total of every single one of those attempts.
Moving on to Section 2, how work changes you. Every single action you take is either working for you or it's working on you. Naturally, we all want the work to work for us, right? We want the money, the followers, the applause. But the work is also working on you. It's quietly building up your resilience, your insight, and your grit. So I want to challenge you for a second. Which set of rewards is truly more valuable in the long run? Would you seriously trade unshakable confidence and wisdom for a quick $1 million? What if you couldn't even handle that massive success without first undergoing that deep internal change?
The actual science behind that transformation is called neuroplasticity. It's the brain's incredible physical ability to rewire itself as you persist through things. When you're grinding away in the dark without any applause, your failures are actively laying down completely new neurological tracks in your mind. You are physically changing. You're becoming stronger and way more capable, long before the scoreboard ever reflects it.
Think about this classic dilemma. Do you focus on skill acquisition, sharpening the axe and going really deep into your craft? Or do you focus on social leverage, building bridges and finding connections? Well, the answer is you've got to go deep. Sharpening the axe means that when a big opportunity finally arrives, you can effortlessly cut right through it. Mastery always compounds over time, and trust me, the right opportunities will eventually find you when your craft is undeniably ready.
So, the key here is mastering cognitive reappraisal. It's a fancy psychological term, but it basically just means reframing your struggle as growth. Think about it like turning coal into diamonds. The intense pressure, the very real pain of feeling completely stuck is exactly the mechanism that creates the worth. The work that shapes you under all that pressure is precisely what makes your eventual breakthroughs sustainable.
All right, Section 3, building capacity and control. We all want more success, more money, more recognition. But there is a massive prerequisite that people ignore: capacity building, meaning you have to actively expand your container before pouring more into it. Growth is a process, not a sudden magical event. You literally cannot receive the massive success you desire until the hard work has expanded your personal capacity to hold it. The bigger your capacity, the more you can receive without just spilling it everywhere. And there's a stark contrast here between internal and external factors. Look, external contributing factors absolutely exist. The economy, societal bias, plain old bad luck. Those are real, and we can't control them. But the true determining factors of your success, those are internal.
Your resilience, your intention, your drive. Consider Frederick Douglass. He was born into slavery, facing insurmountable external barriers. Yet, he expanded his internal capacity to overcome them, proving that our internal drive is ultimately the deciding factor.
Which perfectly brings us to the psychological concept of the locus of control. Basically, are you steering your ship or are you just yelling at the wind? Life naturally leans towards entropy, chaos, disorder, things falling apart. You have to intentionally apply your creative energy to push back against it. Don't abdicate your power by just sitting around waiting for your circumstances to magically get better. Focus entirely on the internal factors you can control. You have to change yourself first.
That brings us to Section 4, Surviving the Latency Period.
Let's talk about the adult version of the marshmallow test, the latency period. It's exactly like a seed planted in the ground, waiting weeks in the total dark before it finally sprouts. Most of us just want an immediate payout. Do the work, get the check. But real entrepreneurship, real lasting success, is a brutal exercise in extreme patience. The time is going to pass anyway. So you have to outlast this latency period by getting better, ensuring that the harvest is actually worth the wait when it finally arrives.
And just how long can that latency period be? 14. That is the number of years of relentless grinding it took to hit a single six-figure year in the journey we're analyzing today. 14 years. And it took 19 years to hit seven figures. Could you imagine if they had just thrown in the towel at year 13? It's a heavy, surprising fact, but it proves the maturation period simply cannot be skipped. Opportunity finds you when you are ready, and not 1 second before.
So how do you actually survive that terrible wait? You rely on momentum. It's this hidden surge you build simply by sticking to something just a little bit longer. It reminds me of the famous Acres of Diamonds story. A man sells his entire farm to travel the world looking for riches, only to find out later that the farm he abandoned was built right on top of a diamond mine. When you get envious and jump from project to project, falsely believing the next thing will be easier, you are just abandoning your momentum.
Finally, Section 5, Next Steps.
The absolute core takeaway here is this: your work is always working on you. The timing is non-negotiable, and your personal transformation is your ultimate profit. So, I've got a concrete, actionable 30-day challenge for you to try right now. Step 1. Pick one thing you've been heavily tempted to quit. Step 2. Recommit to it for just 30 more days. And Step 3. Let it work on you. Even if you don't see immediate results, trust that your internal engine is running, your capacity is expanding, and your effort is compounding. I want to leave you with a lingering, somewhat provocative question based on everything we've talked about today. Are you 3 feet from gold? The next time you feel like breaking down into tears on the patio, remember that your unseen effort is actively transforming you into the exact person who can handle tomorrow's success. Don't quit right before the breakthrough. Keep digging for your own acres of diamonds. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep pushing forward.